I use the word dynamic because I just have so much to offer and to give, right? And I believe in that. And I believe that you need to be known for one thing, but you can do many different things, right? And don't none of those things define you. So you get to be dynamic in life. Again, there's freedom in that. Give yourself the freedom to explore those things.
I love it. And as usual, part of our show, a keepsake that we give to every guest to show just how amazing and awesome you are is a $2 bill. So we wrote the word
I ain't
dynamic.
seen these since the 90s.
You,
like
nice and crispy too.
Do
like
they still make these?
Still make them. Got a whole bunch of them. Our goal is to give away 1 million of these.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we want to impact individuals on that level and having courageous conversations and using that as a way to create social impact, entertain, inspire, and educate. So we wrote your word on it. We wrote the bro code. We also wrote, I signed it and put you matter on it.
Thank you.
I got this from my grandmother. She used to give me odd pieces of money. So like this $2 bill, you are both unique and rare. And we want to use this as a way to say thank you for being on the show.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This is really great.
Yeah,
Thank you for.
Show the people.
Oh, you got to see this. Hold on. See, right here. And then on the back it says, you matter.
Boom.
I love that.
Welcome to Community Spotlight, brought to you by Bro Code TV Productions and hosted by the Bros. Join us on this dynamic journey as we shine the spotlight on local agents who are making a profound difference in their communities. These remarkable individuals bring creativity, wellness, and purpose to the forefront as they tackle challenges, nurture their families, and celebrate successes. In each episode, we explore their unique stories and initiatives, offering an inspiring glimpse into the world of community transformation. Get ready to be inspired by those who are leaving an undeniable mark on their neighborhoods.
You right there. We want you to enjoy the show, but before you do that, hit that subscribe button. And look, we got so much dope content going on around here on the Bro Code Show. Hit that notification button too, baby, so that way when it drops, you'll know. Enjoy the show. Peace.
This show is sponsored by Basics, the branding experts who bring your vision to life. For over 30 years, Basics has delivered top quality screen printing, embroidery, and custom branding solutions. Whether it's corporate merch, team gear, or event swag, they've got you covered. We're proud to partner with a company that believes in quality and excellence just like we do. Visit wearebasics.com. Call 919-833-3851 or stop by 414 DuPont Circle, O'Reilly, NC. Your brand, our business.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show Community Spotlight. As we continue our 3-part series for Women's History Month, we're highlighting Black women in tech who are breaking barriers, leading boldly, and challenging the status quo. In part 2, we are sitting down with Kenyetta Hall, CEO of the Katalyst HQ, strategist, tech innovator, and educator. She helps entrepreneurs and organizations scale with strategy, build custom software solutions, and lead with agility. From corporate bedrooms, from corporate boardrooms to classrooms at UNC Chapel Hill, Kenyetta is shaping the future of business and technology. Kenyetta, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You got to keep it live, right? That's the Bro Code Show all day, you know. I don't know if any boardrooms do feel like bedrooms, but that's a whole nother topic.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. I'm glad I could make you laugh. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's nice outside. It's like 70 degrees. Like it's a win.
That's it. We're getting into this spring thing. It's Women's History Month. You're doing dope things. You are episode 2 of 3 powerful Black women that are doing amazing things.
I'm excited about that.
Indeed. Now, we're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about how it is that you support individuals. We're going to talk about your transition in entrepreneurship. But first, let's have some fun.
Yes.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I heard that you are a fan of music.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm particular about the fan of music I'm a part of.
Oh, what type of music?
90s R&B.
Oh, I get so weak in the knees that
I lose
all
control. See, you gotta go there.
I'm right there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making sure. So, if You're a fan. Since you're a fan of 90s R&B,
90s
if you could
R&B.
choose a theme song for your career, what would it be?
Oh, man. Okay. So wait, does it matter about the lyrics?
It doesn't. Like this is your song, so it's your thing. I'll do what you want to do. It's your prerogative, baby.
Oh man. Okay, you know what? My prerogative. If you
Really? You going Bobby?
My prerogative.
You going straight Bobby on
I
him?
can do what I want to do. And the reason
That's
for
the
that,
theme song?
yes, because I just feel like at this point in my life, at this point in my career, in my business, that it's time to do what I want to do, right? How I want to do it. I often tell, entrepreneurs, do entrepreneurship your way, right? There's no prescribed way. There's a prescribed process for sure, but do it your way. Make it enjoyable. It's a process, right? It's not something that you a lot of times people forget that you arrive to being in entrepreneurship sometimes. It comes to you too.
Yeah.
It's not you just going after it, it comes to you as well.
I like that. So flowing with it, right?
Yes.
I was telling someone earlier, Bruce Lee, I believe, says that you should be like water.
Yeah.
And take on the shape of the container or the perspective of the thing that you're trying to accomplish.
I agree.
Rather than trying to balk against it, flow with it. Right? Align with it.
Yeah.
And feng shui.
I mean, it's a fact. It took me a while to realize that when you start putting the right pieces in place and start really aligning with that, things do start to come to you. But you have to give yourself an opportunity to be open to that.
Right.
Right? And be open to the process being different than what you had planned it to be. Even though you arrive at the same destination, how you thought you would get there could be different.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit brocodetvproductions.com to connect with the bros today.
I love that. I love that. Falling in love with the problem, not how you get there. Right? Because falling in love with the problem means that, hey, I'm dedicated to this regardless of how it looks. This is my space.
And that's the hard part, right? That's the hard part.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So you are big on strategy.
Yeah.
Is there a strategy to your morning routine and coffee routine, or do you just wing it? What does that look like? How do you get to the catalyst space of the awesomeness starting early in the morning?
One, I'm a morning person. I'm a morning person, so for me, mornings come easy. My friends tell me I'm up before the birds, okay? I wake them up. So sometimes my routine has to change, but I'm going to the gym. So I'll be at the gym by 7 o'clock. So I go to the gym by 7 to 8:30 every predominantly 4 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week. But I'm literally up at 5. I'm up before my own alarm comes on. And the reason I get up is because I'm so alert in the morning that I've learned that I need to start allowing myself the time to think, because my mind is going, right? But it's going even more at 5. Now it's gonna shut down around 2. But 5, so I'm allowing myself to, whatever comes to me, like my Apple Notes are full of things that I think about, that I'm doing research on. It hits me at 5, and then I can go to the gym. And then I come back and start whatever day that I'm gonna have for that day. I don't know if you believe in human design, but I do believe in human design, and I'm a manifester in that way. And manifestors are designed to inform people in the world, but also buck against process. So even though I like to help people with process, Oftentimes I balk against process. And it's because I can't be too overprescribed. Like my day cannot be too overprescribed. It has to allow me to just understand what needs to be done and get it done, but on my own time.
I love that. I love that. Manifestation. So speaking, thinking, resonating, things that you haven't yet accomplished but look forward to, but looking at it from a perspective as it's already done.
Which is hard.
Yeah.
I think so in the human design space, as a manifestor, you're just designed to inform the world, right? So it gives you a way of understanding who you are. When you start to think about manifestation in its form, I think there's a couple things that I think about with manifestation, right? You talk as though things as they are, but you also have to remember where you are in time and in space, right? I think people really don't understand that sometimes it's hard to manifest, right? Especially if you feel like you're struggling, especially if you feel like your Maslow's hierarchy of needs is not being met, that it's hard to figure out how to think through something or imagine yourself being in a space. But I do think people have to learn to give themselves grace about that, right? You know, I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning about manifestation and just understanding more and more about who I am is to give myself grace and execute, and I stand by that, right?
I love that. Let's talk about this gym routine. You know, you are a beautiful black woman. You go
I
to...
try, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look, I go to the gym. I ain't gonna get into my sexy story. It's all about you right now, you know. But I'm not even gonna go there. Viewers know that the kid used to be real big, you know. So I too am a 5-day-a-weeker.
Yeah.
I promise you,
But
you know.
I just got back on it though, because I had fell off, and then I got back on it, and I decided that I was gonna be committed to that. I was like, all right, so if I know one of the things that I wanted to do to transcend, because I feel like I'm in this transition in my business and my life, is that I wanted to find a space where I can be dedicated to and really dive deep into the discipline part of it. And so one of the things that has really been resonating with me is I wanted to find, initially when I started working out, I was working out with one of my friends, and then she couldn't work out any longer. And I was like, Kenyetta, you always say you need to work out with somebody in order to get it done, right? Because, you know, sometimes the buddy system work.
Accountability.
Right? Accountability, right? But then I needed to be more accountable to myself. And I needed to push past my ability, that feeling that I needed somebody to be there for accountability, and have the discipline to just go.
The discipline to just go.
Yeah. Even when nobody was there to hold me accountable. And I'm very big on accountability, so but something with exercise, you need somebody else. But I was like, no, you're gonna be committed and disciplined by yourself on this one. And so I've been doing it.
So talk to me about that routine. Like, what is your favorite exercise, least favorite exercise? What do you look forward to? Me, I am not big on burpees. Like, I don't like burpees. I really don't. Anytime my trainer, I got a personal trainer, shout out to my man Elliot over at TrapFit, the best trainer in the world. But I can't stand it. Anytime he writes that on the board, yeah, he knows I'm gonna complain.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I don't look forward to necessarily working out. I look forward to the results. Like, I'm not gonna even hold you and say, one, I don't even like exercise machines. Right, that's not my favorite. You know, and my trainer, she's cool, and I love her to death. And she's like, go on a treadmill, do the stair stepper. I don't even like machines, but I do it.
You
right?
do it. Right.
I do
Because
it.
it's the results.
Because it's the results that I'm going for. It's kind of like when I get a massage, right? My massage therapist does cupping on me.
Okay,
Cupping hurts.
Yeah, indeed.
It hurts, but I don't care how much it hurts because I understand the results that I get. So I move beyond what I hate to try to understand the results.
It's all about the results.
It's all about the results. Because I need that, right? I need that. Because then I can push myself past that. Because then now I'm going to be angry if I don't have the results that I want. Right? So if it's not injuring my body, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
I could dig that. I could do that. Is there an exercise that you do love? Like, I know you, like, do you look forward to any of them? No, you're just doing it for the results. Enough said.
So I don't look forward to always those type of exercises. But you take me to an exercise class like a Zumba,
Okay.
or you do me like a little step,
There's music involved.
Something like that. Little line dancing. Listen here, I'm shutting it down.
Okay.
I'm shutting it down every time.
You say you shutting it down.
Right, I'm shutting it down, right? So as far as if I was like working out, I like to do those things. I work out in the gym because I understand the results.
I understand.
Right? I'm a former athlete. I understand that.
Boom.
I get it. I know what that looks like. So I'm willing to understand the results.
I can only assume. I'm going by your stature. Was your former was it track?
So in high school, yes.
Yes. Okay.
High school track and basketball. I went to a junior college and played basketball there. And then
okay.
once I transferred to NC State, because I'm from the St. Louis area. I'm from Belleville, Illinois, but that's right by St. Louis. People don't know where Belleville is. So I got a scholarship, half academic, half athletic scholarship to junior college, and then I came to North Carolina once I graduated from there and went to NC State. I did not play. I was not a D1 player. You got to be real with yourself. That was not a D1 player, and I didn't care to be. Then after that, of course, I stayed here, and I received my MBA from Carolina, from Keenan Flagler.
Okay, go ahead. UNC in the building. All right. So do you bleed light blue?
No, I still bleed red.
Still bleed. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
because you
I went there first.
All right, undergrad.
Exactly.
My bad. My wolf pack. My bad. My bad. Go back. My bad. Okay.
I get it though. Because
Yeah,
I went there for graduate school.
Right.
I now teach there.
Right.
So I get it.
Okay. I ain't mad. I am not mad at all. So I'm curious. So we're talking about growing up. We talked about college, but what did childhood look like? Who were the matriarchs and patriarchs in the house? And earlier on, were there earlier moments in childhood that kind of geared you towards the tech space or working in the field that you're working now?
I would say, I did work in, just like a lot of people, right? We kind of fell into product management. So that's how I did that tech space. And then I, of course, went on to be an entrepreneur. Went on to be an entrepreneur. But the entrepreneurship piece, yes. Tech space, no. The reason I say the entrepreneurship piece is because a couple things. My mom and dad had a huge age difference, which was really good for me. My dad retired when I was 5, right? So I had all his time. But there was always something within me that I knew that I wanted to just do something on my own, but I wasn't really positive what that was. But I never, and when I mean to tell you, never had any discouragement from my family in any form. If I wanted to be a skydiver, my dad was like, you better figure out how to be the best skydiver you can be.
Yeah.
My mama was like, okay, well, we're going to support that. I remember I wanted to be a doctor. I went to the mini medical school at WashU. I wanted to do this. They paying for this. They were heavily invested in whatever I was invested in. They did not put their dreams or whatever they didn't do in their lives on me. I never had that problem. I never had that problem.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit BroCodeTVProductions.com to connect with the bros today.
I remember telling my dad in my 20s that I wanted to start my own thing, but I just really wasn't positive what that was, right? And so I'm going to work after I graduated college. So I'm going to work, and I just hated the way I was being treated, and I would call my dad and cry. And my dad, he a consoler to a certain extent. You got about, a couple times. And he's going, my dad looked at me one day and said, what you crying for? And I was like, because I'm just trying to get better. They're just not accepting me because I think in my 20s, I just wanted to be validated that I was good, right? And so he said to me, do you want to move up on this job? And I was like, no. He was like, then what are you crying for? He's like, this isn't even what you want. Look me, like, literally on the phone, like, this is not even what you want. He said, you need to leave a job every 2 years, or every 2 years, and you need to write a book, get together a notebook, and write down everything you want, or everything that you like about that organization and dislike about that organization. So write it all out so that when you start your own, you know exactly what it is that you want. He's like, I want you to leave every job every 2 years, because if you don't grow, you die. And it doesn't matter for you, because you're trying to get the experience, because you don't want to be there anyway. And, you know, hearing that in your 20s, you're trying to do things like the world I say do it, right? You're trying to go to school, get a job. So having somebody that is fighting back on you, and I'm like, no, I challenge that. And my dad was a challenger in that way. He really taught me how to hold my own, right? In conversation. My mother was the same way, because shout out to my mama, right?
Shout out Mom Dukes.
Right. So she challenged me as well to just always stand up, right? And so having that conversation, but not really feeling like I knew what to do with that information. But sometimes people plant seeds in your mind before you actually understand what they truly mean to you. And I never had a job longer than 2 years except for one.
Do you believe that like your father was telling you to leave a job every 2 years, because if you don't grow, you'll die, right? If you don't put yourself in a position similar to the goldfish mentality, the goldfish is only going to get as big as the environment that you put it in.
That's right.
So if you put it in a bowl, well, it's going to be only as big as that bowl. But if you put it in a pond, the opportunity for it to grow is now available, because it has room to grow with the environment.
That's right.
Do you feel that that advice that he gave you is the transition that really helped you suck it up, buttercup, for this transition that you made and believe, what was it, 2020?
Yeah.
You made a bold move to bet on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I heard that the best bet that you can make is a bet on investment on
Yeah.
self. And leaving the corporate world, you know, so talk to me about that ecosystem, from crying to picking up your face to deciding to be bold and courageous in that move. What did that look like? How did that feel?
So I'm gonna tell you this, every single time that I've been making bold moves, and now that I reflect back on it, I've been making those bolder moves without even recognizing I'm making those bolder moves, right? So if I was to reflect back on it, I look and see that I left a job every 2 years. I quit those jobs, right? When I realized it wasn't giving me what I wanted, I found a new job. Even when I was unclear about exactly what I wanted, I was like, I knew for a fact what wasn't it. I went and got my MBA because I realized that I was racking up experience in the space that I didn't want to rack up experience. So I was like, I got to give me a degree, because that's going to help me get me into the type of job that I was looking for. When I was, what my cousin said, because I was actually, my last job, we were all let go, not because of performance, but because they reorged. And my cousin said, you were released into your purpose. I love when she says that. And so she said, you were released into your purpose. And so I had already been praying to God to help me just be uncomfortable, not to help me get clarity or anything else, but literally to be uncomfortable. So I think that transition of making those bold moves, those smaller, bolder moves along the way, made me feel real comfortable when it was time to go out on my own. I think that's exactly what happened.
How did you get to a space where you even felt confident to be comfortable in the uncomfortable like that?
I didn't. I don't think that. I think that's not something I felt. I just, once you start to get a solid foundation, I think people really underestimate how a value system helps you make decisions.
Talk to me about that. What do you mean by value system? Help our listeners with that.
You know how in a business people create their vision, their mission, and their values. People look at that as a checkbox. Oftentimes, it's like, oh, I've created my mission, I've created my vision, I've created my values. But in reality, what mission, vision, and values are help you make decisions, right? If you are making decisions that are not in the direction of your vision, or go against, are not aligned with your mission and go against your values, that answer should be no. You see what I'm saying? And so I had a friend of mine at the time tell me that you need to get clear on what do you need to be successful, because that's how you start to judge environments that you're in, is on how you need to be successful, not on how a job needs you to be successful, right?
So I'm curious, that same value system, is that how you assess not just jobs, but your feelings, those that you call friends, the behaviors and the awareness that you have that makes you vulnerable, uncomfortable, fearful? Is that value system along the line of everything that you do in your life? Like, how has that evolved for you in that system?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that I value a lot is accountability. And I hold people accountable, but I too need people to challenge me, right? So not only hold me accountable, but to challenge me back on my thought process, because that's the only way I feel like I can get better. Now, here's the thing with that. It don't always feel good.
Sure.
Right? And also, you need to recognize that your response to being challenged will not always show up good. Right? And so I found that with myself personally sometimes. That I mean, if somebody challenges something I done dug my heels in about it, I'm probably not going to respond as well. But I've learned to be okay with that, and have friends to give you grace to be okay with that too, because communication isn't perfect.
Grace.
Right? I think people think that, nowadays when we talk about communication, that communication has to show up in this perfect way. When we are in therapy and y'all should know how to communicate, you actually progress in communication. It's not a perfect thing. Right? But you only progress if you allow yourself to grace in that progression. Right?
I love that. Along those lines of grace and social responsibility, you also make an impact teaching this thing called Brand for Social Impact. Is that right?
I do.
Talk to me more about that role, and how do you approach that role, especially with students that are aiming to make a social impact?
So I'm gonna tell you this. So when I refer to Brand for Social Impact, my reference is teaching students, undergraduate students, preferably juniors and seniors. Well, I got a couple sophomores. But what I do is I'm teaching them how to build purposeful, profitable brands, because profit is a part of impact, right? Money is a tool, right? So I teach my students and I give them tools that they can put in their toolbox, so that they understand how to use these things in particular to be able to start what they want when they want, whether that's in an entrepreneurial space or whether that's in an intrapreneurial space. But now they have tools in their toolbox that they can use and pull out at any time. And then it's my responsibility as their professor to not only put tools in those in their toolbox, but then show them how they can apply them at any given time. That's what I help them with.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit brocodetvproductions.com to connect with the bros today.
I love that. Let's get into this toolbox, right? Since we in this toolbox now, let's get into this toolbox, right? Because we need more than one tool to build the house, just like we need more than one tool to build our careers, to build our personalities, to build our awareness. You talked about one tool, right? But what would you say the top 5 tools of building a brand or a ethos to your career, like your why in the space of your mission for the earth? And then what are those tools? And then what tool would you compare it to, such as a hammer or a screwdriver or a wrench?
Okay.
Or you can do the
I'm
former,
all
but not the
tools.
latter, right?
Right,
Okay.
like, I don't know all the tools now.
Well, stick with the former.
Now, listen, I'm working on being Barbara the Builder in my own house. Okay, I'm working.
Not Barbara, right? Not Bob, but Barbara.
I'm working on being Barbara the Builder. Okay. Now, what I would say, some tool that you need in order to really just build your brand or build your career or build your business, one is you need to divorce your purpose from your business. Divorce that. I see way too many people out here saying, oh, I'm in my business and it's my purpose. Your business is not your purpose. Your business is a vehicle that you've chosen to deliver whatever purpose that you have. And what that means is that your vehicle can change at any given point in time in your life, right? Imagine the freedom you have knowing that your vehicle can change because purpose is yours, right? You own that. That's not attached to anything, right? So that's number one. Number two, you build legacy, right? You leverage assets. No asset is a piece of your legacy. It's a means to get and build your legacy, right? So let's start divorcing those things that are ours personally against the ways that we use things as vehicles and the ways we leverage assets. Okay, so start to divorce that. Right? Number two is have big vision. Scared money don't make money. And also, I remember somebody in MBA school told me this, is that his first business failed because he failed to think about making a lot of money. He didn't think he would make a lot of money, so he failed at it. He failed his first business because he didn't think big, right? Thinking big helps you make big moves. They help you make bold moves. Right? It's okay to be scared of big vision. Be okay with being scared. All right? Number three, critically thinking. I think people think we have a technology issue. No, we have a critical thinking issue. We don't have a technology issue because people feel that technology is moving so fast, right? They're like, how can we keep up? One, humans evolve. As technology evolves, so do human minds and brains. All right? So that's never going to be the case. The thing we aren't learning how to do or aren't teaching enough of how to do is critically think. How do we put pieces together, right? How do we think through a problem? Because technology is a tool, something that you apply, right? Brand or understanding business fundamentals is something you apply. There are tools in your toolbox, right? Being able to critically think is one of the biggest tools you'll have in your toolbox because you can dissect anything. Now, when we talk about critical thinking, we're not just talking about in the mathematical concept because people only think that critical thinking skills or analytical skills come in the form of being an engineer, right? Because there's logic behind that. But if you look on the other side of that, then we have philosophy, anthropology, which talks about how people critically think in relation to social systems, in relation to people, in relation to emotions, right? Because those things are not logical. Right? Mm-hmm. And so understanding how to critically think through problems, critically think about your life are important. So that's three things right there. Number four, I would say, is start giving yourself the space to arrive to a destination. And the reason I say give yourself the space to arrive at a destination, as you get older, as we evolve, our vision, our scope, our experience and scope becomes larger, right? We experience more things. Our scope about what we learn is bigger, right? Mm-hmm. So allow yourself to explore that space, right? And the fifth and final thing is allowing yourself the space to fail. Okay? We have internalized failure as who we are when it's something that we do. And if it's something that you do, it's something that you can recover from. Right? But what happens is we've internalized it to be it versus it's something that you recover from. Failure is practice. And I liken that to basketball, right? When you're playing basketball, before you get out there to the big dance in the game, you're in the gym, shooting, right? And every little mistake, failure that you make, you're correcting it, right? That's the goal of practice, getting the reps in, right? Correcting it in practice so that you get muscle memory. Not just muscle memory to correct yourself in the moment, but muscle memory and understanding how to recover. Yeah. See, people think that failure is just failing and getting back up. No, you have to learn how to recover. And because what we've been taught in society that is perfection is equal to success, we haven't actually found spaces to recover. We haven't practiced recovery, right? People go into 12-step programs because nobody ever taught them a 12-step program in school on how to recover from something bad that happens to them. So you fear bad things happen to you, right? The reason people even get to the space of resilience is because it's not to get to the other side. It's to be sustainable there, right? Everything every mountain, God don't need to move. He don't need you to move that mountain. He needs you to climb that mountain, because what's on the side of that is greatness, but you have to be able to withstand something to stay there.
Come on.
Right? So the way that I look at those tools, if you notice, I didn't really say anything about business. Those are fundamental things that you need to understand about life, right? Because they affect how you look at your career. They affect how you look at your business. They affect how you are sustained within your business. Right.
I love that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, man, where do I go from there, right? I want to transition a little bit to now shift in that mindset and how that mindset, or did that mindset, or where that mindset came together to inspire you to found the Katalyst HQ. And words matter, so where did the name come from, right? I think I know, but for our viewers, our listeners, and for me, talk to me a little bit more about the inspiration behind the Katalyst HQ, the name itself. And let's start there.
So the name is because when people come to me, it's because they're looking for something. Actually, people come to me when they're in transition of some sort, right? They're ready to pivot, they're ready to make new decisions, but they don't really know where to start. And oftentimes you need a spark, right? Of something to help you get started, to look at things differently. And that's what I wanted to be, the headquarters for people to have a safe space to fail. I wanted the people to have a headquarters, to have a safe space to think differently, move differently, so they can act differently. I wanted people to have a space that sparks them to pivot into the direction to build the life and business they wanted to on their terms, but in a sustainable way.
Right.
That is exactly why I started the Katalyst.
So the name, Katalyst, I know what it means. Is it self-explanatory?
It is. So in the Katalyst, it's a spark, right? It's a chemical reaction spark that starts a chain of events. And oftentimes, what are people having the hardest time with technology? Where do you get started?
Right. Prompting AI, how to understand it,
yeah,
why.
When you want to start a business, it doesn't, and the information, and this is what people say, information is all out there. It's never about the information being all out there. It's about understanding how to connect the dots.
That's absolutely right. The education.
And so the Katalyst is what we spark. We help spark you because we help you connect the dots in relation to you and yours.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's stay there for a moment when we talk about connecting the dots. In an informational world where it comes at you so fast, it's like drinking out of a fire hose sometimes. It's not that the information is not there, you have to really seek out its validity, because we know this thing called fake news.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you continue to evolve the Katalyst HQ to support businesses, to support those from different generations to be their best selves with the influx of AI, with the influx of, I don't know if that's real or not. Like, how does that, what does that look like, and how do you support people in that space?
Oh man, the fundamentals. If you don't understand the environment, you take 2 steps back to analyze the environment, right? Oftentimes people drinking from a fire hose because they just won't stop drinking the water. Stop. But you know why? You know why people don't stop? Ain't no rewards for resting. All right? So people don't stop. And they feel like if they're not moving, they're failing. They're not moving forward. There is something to be said when you stop to understand the environment as to which you're moving. Right? Begin to see how it's moving. What are some things I can get some quick wins? What are some things that are a bit more complex for me to understand? Right? what's my big vision for that? But where do I start? You can only do that when you stop. That's what strategy is for. Strategy gives you direction. Oftentimes people are doing a whole bunch of moving that's being busy and not productive. But we learn that from corporate, right? When you are in corporate and you have a whole bunch of meetings on your table, people are busy. And not to say everybody, because there could be reasons for these things, right? But are we evaluating what's actually productive? Or are we just filling time because people like to see butts and seats?
Whew, man.
And so when I help leaders, when I help organizations, when it comes to the space of understanding how to look at strategy, how to build sustainably, how to lead with agility and adaptability, understanding how to filter new ideas and create spaces of innovation, what I'm asking you to do is stop. Be able to stop and explore. I would say one of the worst spaces that we ever got rid of was the space of imagination that children have.
I heard that thank you for that. I heard that the greatest nation that we have is the imagination. Because in that space, the impossible becomes possible.
Every time.
And there are no boundaries or limits on what can and can't be done.
But that can only happen when you stop.
Yeah.
And allow yourself a space to explore. How many times as adults do we allow that? But we're told to keep the cycle moving, right?
I love that. I love it. We're going to go on a real quick break, but when we do come back, we want to talk about, is it Agile Product Dojo Initiative?
Oh, yeah.
Did I get it right?
You
you got excited. You got to stretch that on me on that one. Talk a little bit more about that. Talk about wellness, your personal insights on that.
Yeah.
This thing called mental gymnastics, right? We're going to stretch our brains on that.
Okay.
And then we're going to find out what's your code. But we'll get into all of that with Kenyetta.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit BroCodeTVProductions.com to connect with the bros today.
We're back on the Bro Code Show with Kenyetta Hall. We have talked about the Katalyst HQ. We have talked about the mindset and the 3 top characteristics that it takes to be successful for personal development and business development all around the board. But I want to dig into AI, more importantly, and more specifically, the Agile Product Dojo and its mission to upskill leaders in AI and automation. Tell me more about that, the name, how you came up with it, what's involved, and everything in that core of that.
Yeah, so to add on to the Agile Product Dojo, it's not just a space for AI and automation, but to really amplify the skill set of people who are in product management. What me and my partner, I have a business partner, his name is Thomas Gibson. What we had realized was that we saw a lot of people who fell into product. Nobody was really taught to be a product manager. And so, believe it or not, Thomas taught me to understand, gave me the language to be a product manager, right? He's the one that really started me in my PM career, or helped me understand that I was in the career, but gave me the language to understand how to navigate that career space. And I say that because when I first got in MBA school, I became a digital strategist. After became a digital strategist, I ended up on an Agile team. And I was like, okay, cool, right? And then he came on as a Scrum Master, and he was like, hey, you're doing product. And I was like, what's that? And I know a lot of people who just fell into product management that way, right? It's now becoming a more popularized profession, but it wasn't that way in, I would say, when did I start doing that? 2016, 17? It wasn't like that. So he gave me the language. And then I realized not only did there's a language that people speak in the area, you can make money in that area. Being a PM. Not a project manager, because they're different than a product manager. People often interchange those words, but they're not the same.
Okay.
And so we really realized that we wanted to help other people. Now that I've been in it for almost 9 years now, and I've been a co-founder in a startup. I've worked with other startups in a product advisory operations role, strategy role. I've even helped one I co-founded, an ex-co-founder, we parted ways. I helped raise $200K, helped build a founding team. And so I know a thing or two about product, and so does my business partner. Because again, he taught me. So we wanted to help amplify the skill set of others in that space. And now that AI and automation has come along, we wanted to help people understand the space of AI and automation. Now, when it comes to leadership, what I'm also finding is that we're in this space where everybody's trying to navigate AI and what that means to build strategy and how to lead leveraging this piece of technology. And so I am now in the space of working with leaders to help them understand how to not only use it to help them lead better and leverage it to help them be more, better managers, but also how do they craft a space, right, to help their employees be able to leverage that as well. How do we help each other leverage technology to be better in space? So be AI empowered. That's my whole goal.
AI empowered. Okay.
That's right.
Let's stick on that space of empowerment because for those that are listening that may need your services, for those that are listening that are in a space of unclarity when it comes to personal goals, business goals, leveling up, what is the next level, strategy, blueprint, how does Katalyst HQ help those people? What is the model or the systems and processes that here I am, I'm a struggling business, I'm wanting to do more, I know I have more in me, I know that my now is not my last destination, there's a next for me, but I'm really unclear on what that is, what it looks like, and how I even begin to start that process. How does Katalyst HQ work through that FUD, that fear and uncertainty and disbelief or dishonesty or disworth, whatever your D is or whatever your FUD is? How does Katalyst HQ help with that?
So I actually like to characterize that space as what I call the messy middle, right? Is where you've experienced some success, right? But now you are looking to level up and, everything just feels chaotic, right? What used to work doesn't work anymore. You're out of alignment with your strategy and your team strategy, or your business strategy. The operation seems stale, and now we have this added layer of AI and technology, and how do I leverage that? Right. So I come in and help you understand that the messy middle is now a launch pad for growth, right? Because when things feel chaotic, that typically means there's a transition happening, which means you can only go up from here, right? So that's what the Katalyst does, and how we help through what I like to call 90-minute sprint sessions for business strategy for smaller businesses. That's how we help smaller businesses. And then for larger organizations, how we help them is through design sprints, which are really fast ways to make decisions, validate ideas, workshops, facilitation, and then also consulting. And now I'm also building out leadership effectiveness programs to work with leaders on how to implement technology at the employee level and managerial level to use it in order to be able to be more effective in that space. Right.
And how can individuals that are needing these services connect with you and connect?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm on all platforms. Well, really, I'm on LinkedIn and my website. I would say you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Kenyetta Hall. I come right up. I have on a mustard color blazer, this pretty dashing smile. And so you'll see me on there. Also, I'm on Instagram, Kenyetta Hall, but I'm not as active on there when it comes to my business, but I'm definitely active on LinkedIn. And also, you can go to my website, so www.thekatalyst.hq.com. Katalyst is spelled with a K, not a C, because of course, Kenyetta, duh. And And so, yeah, so if you are a person who feel like they're in a messy middle and looking to transition to that next level of growth, but with intention, and if you're an enterprise or entrepreneur, please, if you're ready, let's make it happen.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit brocodetvproductions.com to connect with the bros today.
Let's make it happen. Please go reach out to Kenyetta Hall and ask her, hey, how can I level up my business? What is it that I can do more of? What can I do less of? How can I add success to the already success that I have to level up to the next point?
It's always, let me tell you something, clarity is an outcome, and people need to understand that, people need to understand that, period, right? So we assume that outcomes only come in return of like return on investments that are tangible.
Right.
So money, decrease in time, but clarity is very much so an outcome. Do you know why rich people or millionaires go to masterminds? They go to masterminds to get clarity, right? That's what they're going for because it's an outcome.
Being around individuals that can help you see things from a different perspective, but are already on a plateau that or a level of success that mirrors or is similar.
Yep.
Like we talked about earlier, that fish in the fishbowl.
Exactly.
I can dig that.
And so the sooner you realize that clarity is an outcome, and that oftentimes as leaders or business owners, believe it or not, you are actually siloed, right? As a leader in an organization, you're typically not consulting other managers on how to be a better manager, right? Or how to lead more effectively, or those things. You're not consulting anybody else. You're typically doing that all by yourself, right? When you're in entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs tend to do a lot of things in a silo by themselves, right? And what people fail to realize is leading is personal, because it's about what you're showing people, the values that you hold, the standards that you have, right? And nobody's challenging you because nobody feels like they can, right? In entrepreneurship space, it's personal, right? And nobody challenged you because you don't have that network of people to challenge. You probably haven't surrounded yourself. And it is very hard to make decisions when things become personal to you.
Right.
Business coaches have business coaches. People do not know that, right? Strategists have other strategists because their business is personal to them, and you are not able to see the things that another strategist could see about your business because you're too close.
That's right.
That doesn't make you any less smart. That doesn't mean you can't make decisions, but your decision making becomes stalled or it becomes really slow because you haven't recognized that your business is personal and you need outside help.
Due to your proximity.
That's right. Leadership is the same way, right? If I want to be a more effective leader, yes, I'm reading books. Yes, those all things are great. But are you having somebody from the outside also helping you look at things differently? Being that strategic partner in that space, giving you tools and frameworks on how to use and leverage business fundamentals with technology to be more effective. Are you giving your own self a space to fail? Because if you haven't given yourself that space to fail, how do we expect you to give your employees that same space?
I love that. That's a great segue on this thing called wellness. We're big on wellness here at Bro Code. Self-love is not selfish. It is necessary. It's important. It offers an opportunity for you to show up as your best self in all of the ecosystems that you're blessed to do that. So I'd love to talk a little bit more about with you. Where does wellness line up on your scale of 1 to 10 or your priority list? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Has it evolved since 2020 and going through the whole pandemic, and how it helps and supports your life now?
For sure. So wellness to me isn't always about, getting a massage or getting my hair done. Those are things that are part of that. One of the things that is wellness to me is having somebody, I know this sounds crazy, but having my personal board of advisors challenge me in different spaces, right? That's important to me because I know personally, because I'm very self-aware. Mm-hmm. And so I know that there's times that I could just go way too deep on something that's not even necessary. And that deepness on something could alter how I'm moving in my life, right? And I need somebody to challenge me and say, hey, you need to excuse my language, sit your ass down somewhere.
Yeah, I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so to me, that's self-care, right? Hey, understanding that if I get to that space, being able to have somebody challenge me, was like, hey, didn't we tackled this? You got tools in your toolbox. What are we using to help to move past that point? Another thing I started doing, I don't do it as often enough as I need to, but I know the benefits, is free writing. And I don't even like to write like that. But free writing is different. So just free writing what is ever on my mind and heart at that, just get it out. So not to write about anything. So I don't really do journal prompting. I don't like to write in journal prompts for me because I'm already an overthinker. So now you're going to give me a journal prompt, and now I'm going to overthink this journal prompt and feel like I got to be perfect in trying to write that. But free writing is gold. It's gold. You feel like you just get a lot off your chest.
I love that. So whatever's on your thoughts, whether it is in complete sentences or bullet points or just a word.
Exactly. And then it may look like a whole bunch of squirrels hit your page, but it doesn't matter because that's the whole point, right? The point is to get it out. The point is not to be structured. The point is to be free. And we don't give ourselves the space of freedom enough.
Bro Code TV Productions specializes in visual storytelling that captures the essence of who you are. Whether it's personal branding, milestone events, cinematic storytelling, or custom green screen productions, our team delivers stunning visuals with excellence. We also bring stories to life through high-quality animated videos. Located in Raleigh, North Carolina, we work with clients nationwide, providing videography, photography, drone cinematography, and high-end editing. Ready to tell your story through high-quality media? Let's work. Call 919-714-9905 or visit brocodetvproductions.com to connect with the bros today.
Kenyetta, we have talked about a lot. Mm-hmm. Transitioning now, I want to get into landing this plane. Thank you for sharing how you prepare wellness, what it looks like, and really the ethos and what contains in that. I really appreciate that insight. But I want to talk about mindset, more specifically about this thing called mental gymnastics. And what I mean by that is oftentimes all of us are faced with challenges, we have problems, but is there a go-to strategy or a specific way that you navigate the uncomfortable? What does that look like? How do you unpack that space?
Oh, that's deep. I was like, how do I stop playing mental gymnastics? I play mental gymnastics all the time, right? Oftentimes, what I do to stop playing mental gymnastics is to go do something fun to take my mind off of it. I start there because oftentimes when you're playing mental gymnastics, you are just going down into a deeper, darker hole, right? And you need to pull yourself out of that to go do something that is completely unrelated to whatever it is that you're trying to focus on at the time, right? So that's what I try to do, is go do something that's completely unrelated to that. So that might be watching mindless reality TV shows, right? I referee. People don't know that. I referee basketball. I'm a basketball. Yeah.
Okay, so you're still close to the game.
For sure. So I've been refereeing for about 10 years. And so it is something that is so different from what I do in my daily life that why not, right? You get in, put on your uniform and go to work. And you get paid. You don't get paid too shabby in refereeing, okay? You don't get paid too shabby.
Okay.
So, but that's something that I do that keeps my mind off of just doing the things that I'm doing all the time. Find a hobby, right? Find some things you want to explore. If you really want to understand who you are and really tap into your imagination, start pursuing things that are outside of your business goals. That'll give you an outlet to be able to focus on that you really, really, really enjoy in a different way. It uses other parts of your brain. It helps you unlock other things that's happening in your brain, right? And that's how I tend to stop doing mental gymnastics. Like I told you, I'm becoming Barbara the Builder in my house, right? I put my own garbage disposal in.
Go ahead, Barbara.
You know, Barbara over here about to, fix something in her dishwasher soon. And who knew I'd be excited about doing that? As a homeowner, you get excited about the little stuff. But who knew I'd be excited about that? But it's stuff like that, right, that are completely unrelated to what I do in my daily life that I can find that takes my mind off playing mental gymnastics about stuff that if I stop thinking about it and let some things come to me instead of trying to force and just flow, that it's a little bit different.
Stop forcing and start flowing.
Sometimes you need to force. Like I think there is some balance with that, right?
I love that. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, as a strong Black woman, as someone that is successful, as someone that has taken life's lemons and truly made a Arnold Palmer, not just lemonade, but have taken the ingredients and it's holistically put a dash of this and a whole lot of that to create your own sauce, your own flow. I admire that.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. But I want you to speak to the young lady, to the young girl, to the young man, to the young person, period, that is growing up in this world of isms, phobias, and bias, that is wondering what their next is, potentially having to deal with a trauma of not being shown or not being paid their worth, whether that be in any field. What words of encouragement, what words of support, what thoughts would you encourage those young people with?
I got some words. Luckily, so teaching, in the university setting, that is the one question, that's the one thing that I try to address all the time, believe it or not. The first thing is define success for yourself because you are only responsible for your life. Define it for yourself. So don't let mom, dad, sister, brother, whoever define success for you, do that on your own. Allow yourself the space to be. Number 2, give yourself space to feel and grace. That's important. I think that is some of the most important things you'll ever do. Because when you're young, you gotta try. When you're older, you still need to be trying. Every day you're one day closer to death. And people will have you believing out in these streets that you can't be 40 and start something over. That is a lie.
Yep.
Right? People will have you believe that if you didn't start at your 20, you shouldn't start now. Every day is another day to start, because you get another day on this earth. I have to remind myself of that all the time, right? And that when you're defining success for yourself, block everybody else out and tune in. That's it. Tune into you and your stuff and your race. And be okay that things may change over time because change is inevitable. That's a natural part of life and evolution as a person. And if you're not changing, and then you're not evolving, and that's problematic in itself. Another thing that I would employ some of, just not even young, everybody else to think through is fear. Don't do it scared, and don't let fear stop you from doing the things that you want to do. And when I mean talking about fear, I'm talking about societal fear, right? That, you have to do exactly what they said you need to do in order to be successful. That is not true. Once you've defined success for yourself, you get to own that. Ownership is freedom. Do you not understand that? Ownership is freedom. There is freedom in that ownership. Every single time that you get to have ownership of your life, right? You don't owe your parents nothing. You don't owe them. And it's okay to say that out loud, that you don't owe them, because the responsibility is for your life. Right? I appreciate the fact that my parents never put that on my back. I never had to carry that burden.
Love that.
You know?
Kenyetta, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to sit down with us, have a conversation, share your story, be vulnerable, be transparent, and allow our listeners to walk through and live a day in the life of a basketball player, a track star, and a superstar when it comes to ownership, owning how you feel, and really taking accountability for controlling what you can control, not just in business, but in your personal life as well.
I would say 3 core things that I always live by. 1, defining success for yourself. Don't let nobody else define that for you. Pivot and change as many times as you need to, right? Another thing I think about is failure's practice, right? Remember, you need to practice getting back up. And I think that is super, super, super important. And it's okay to be confident. And it's okay to be confident out loud. So I think that's important. That's what I live by, right?
This show is sponsored by Basics, the branding experts who bring your vision to life. For over 30 years, Basics has delivered top quality screen printing, embroidery, and custom branding solutions. Whether it's corporate merch, team gear, or event swag, they've got you covered. We're proud to partner with a company that believes in quality and excellence just like we do. Visit wearebasics.com. Call 919-833-3851 or stop by 414 DuPont Circle, O'Reilly, NC. Your brand, our business.
They sold me when I walked in the door, okay? But outside of that, this was one of the best experiences I've had doing a TV show, podcast. There's video, there's lights, pleasant people, excellent questions that really had me thinking. It was such a great experience, and I think that you all need to experience this. I felt comfortable. I felt at peace. I felt the willingness to be open, and I think that is so important to foster that environment that I could just be me. So thank you so much for that.